All right. Let's try this again. Oh, it looks like I've had a eureka moment. Child, that took forever. Anyway, this is greetings, family. This is Cassandra Floyd, daughter of the Fates, rogue black girl, formerly known to many of you as Iyapo Ngina. And I am here after quite a long sabbatical from doing lives to talk with you about what's hot on everybody's pages for the last few days, which is the Woman King. I want to start by saying, because I'm going to jump right into this. I am starting later than I anticipated because, yay, we had technical difficulties earlier and I had to work them out. So now I'm here and we're going to get right into it. Okay, so let's do a little slight overview. Okay, one, for those of you who do not know me, the perspective that I am coming from is a multifaceted perspective. I have been a political organizer slash activist slash revolutionary, whatever you want to call yourself, for the last 23 plus years. I am a mother. I am a grandmother. I have been a wife, and I am a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine. And so I have an extensive background in Eastern philosophy as well as medicine, both traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda. Um, I was born to a long line of witches. Do not know they witches, no matter. You understand? Um, and, you know, this is kind of a digression, but both my parents were born in New Orleans. And yeah, so this thing keeps coming up in my life a lot. And all right, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. All right. And then the other perspective is that not only do I have a background in Eastern medicine and so called alternative medicine, but I also have an equally extensive background in Western medicine. I pride myself on being a scientist as well as a spiritualist. I am an ordained minister. I have been a devotee of Ifa for 13 years. I helped to build my temple, my Ile, in Tampa, Florida, and and so these are my backgrounds. These are all the perspectives, and also having been an activist, a hardcore activist, trained by a veteran revolutionary organization for 15 years. I pride myself on being a pretty well-studied historian. Now, I didn't go to school to major in history. You understand what I'm saying? But as a consequence of doing revolutionary work for 15 years under a 42-year-old veteran organization, I can say with some confidence that I am a historian as well. Now, with that being said, I want to talk about this movie. I want to preface talking about this movie with a couple of statements. My position is my own. My position, I promise, will not be popular. That's all right. The other thing, the disclaimer is I do not debate with men. Don't happen, won't happen. If you don't rock with, can't walk with the position that I am presenting, that's no problem. I ain't got no struggle with that. You understand what I'm saying? What I will not do is debate you on my position. So if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. That's okay, right? And that goes for anybody, male or female, but primarily me. Okay. So I just want to forewarn you that what I am going to say in me presenting my position about this movie that I have gone to see twice is going to make some folks mad. But it's my responsibility, I feel like, one, to remind people that when we see a thing is not a thing. A thing is the culmination of all the contributing things that made it present the way that it does in any given time. And I'm saying that because there's a way that a lot of this narrative that's happening around the Woman King is this horrible oversimplification of what it is we're witnessing, what it is we're watching. And it's my responsibility to complicate that shit that y'all oversimplifying. I've spent the last 3 days, I spent the last 3 days, assaulting my own brain under the guise of being objective, watching video after video, article after article of all the different ways that we should be opposed to and boycott this movie. This is what a scientist does. You understand what I'm saying? A scientist is objective. And that objectivity has to come from opposing positions. So that's what I did. I went and watched I watched conservative Negroes. You understand? I watched so-called conscious Negresses. You understand what I'm saying? The gamut. People that I know are historians, I have watched their take on what this movie is, and why they are either opposed to supporting it or going to support it. So that's what I spent my time doing. But as soon as I heard some of the criticisms that were coming out to support this boycott that's been called on by primarily Black men. The majority, I think I've seen so far 2 Black women that have been outspoken in their opposition to seeing this movie and their subsequent boycott of the movie. But the majority of the people that I've seen, calling for a boycott of the movie have been Black men. Okay, so I want to start out with the simple stuff first. I want to say I saw the movie twice. I was not sure what I was going to experience watching this movie, but I went in open-minded. Okay, I will say that I enjoyed the movie. I went to see it twice. I will say that I want to start out with the simple things first before I get deep on y'all asses, because I'm going to. The first thing that struck me when I saw the movie that I was really won by is, and these things are not small things, but to others they may be. The first thing that struck me was I was so grateful that there were only a couple of instances of sexual assault in the movie, and in the display of those instances, the instances were implied. I love you too, Misty. I get so exhausted on seeing women in general and Black women in particular being assaulted in movies. I am exhausted on the shit. And so, and it's this thing where, the more graphic the sexual assault, I don't know, like when people are making these scenes, you understand, I'm trying to understand like what they think, being as gruesome and vicious as possible is going to do for the ratings of their movies that they can't infer, right? And I appreciated that about this movie, that the sexual violence against women in this movie was inferred. It was not graphic. It was not traumatizing. So I really appreciated that. It wasn't a small thing to me. And I know that difference is because of who made the movie. The majority of the contributors to the movie were Black women. The producers, several of the producers were Black women. The damn near 90% of the cast is Black women. And I knew right away when I watched it, that had an impact on these few scenes that are in the movie that infer sexual violence, right? 2, the violence of warfare. So the thing that struck me is I've been familiar with the Dahomey for a hot minute, 20 years. You understand what I'm saying? I knew the story. You understand? I understood the context with which they existed. So, honey, every time I saw a poster with the sister with somebody's head in her hand, I was like, that's just what a motherfucker got to do. That's the period. That's the time. This shit is vicious. They did what they had to do. You understand? They squaring off with men. They squaring off with colonizers. They squaring off with everybody. So they got to be as vicious as, especially as women, because otherwise people will take you weak just because you got a vagina, or just because, you know what I'm saying? And so they was like, look, we gotta make it so motherfuckers be thinking twice before they try us. And so every time you turn around, you see in a poster or a picture of some sister, a Dahami sister with somebody's head in it. They were notorious for cleaving heads off. I was like, I ain't got no struggle with it. You feel me? So in the movie, knowing this about the Dahami, the second thing that I found actually quite refreshing was that even the war scenes, knowing who the Dahami were, the war scenes were not as graphic as typical war scenes. Yes, there was fighting. Yes, there were swords and blades and bayonets and stuff like that. But these days, over the last 20 years, like the intensity of how graphic violence is portrayed in movies. And baby, I'm old school. You cannot tell me that watching in a week, if you watch 2 hours of TV a night, you'd probably seen 50 murders on TV, that is not having an impact on your spirit. You understand what I'm saying? And so for me, I was really impressed. I found it refreshing that even in the war scenes, they were not gruesome. They were not, there was not one head removed in the movie. Just so you know, there was not one head removed in the movie. I appreciated that. Even though I knew who the sisters were, I appreciated the fact that when these women in this movie were having to go into battle, not only with Europeans, but with other Black people from other tribes, they did not go hard to be somehow extra gruesome in the war scenes and the spilling of blood. And I appreciated that. It allowed me to focus more on the content of the film, right? And I again know, I am going to reiterate this often, I again know that the fact that the majority, and I watched an interview with Viola Davis last night, and she was saying it wasn't like they didn't try. The few men that were, a part of like the decision making were perpetually trying to impose man shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, can there be a man in this scene? Can it be a little bit more brutal? Can it? And she is like, we were constantly having to do battle to protect the script the way that it was. She said it's not for lack of trying, because they tried, right? And so so I know again that even the fact that the fight scenes were not as gruesome as they could have been, right? I appreciated that. And I know that was because that it was Black women setting the terms for how this was going to play out, right? Okay, so that's number two. Now, so those were the two big things that I appreciated that stood out right away for me, was the fact that, for those that are just tuning in, that the sexual violence was not traumatizing. It was inferred, it was not this abject, like terrible, shit, right? That you leave the damn film traumatized and shit for the sexual violence. And two, the fact that even though the movie is defined by these warriors, that the war scenes were not as gruesome as they could have been either, which I appreciated. To me, it's distracting and it's not necessary. And I appreciated that. It was more artful than it was just brute force slaying and blowing people's brains out and all that kind of dumb shit, right? Okay, now, I got a whole bunch of notes, baby. Look at this. Film. I don't know if y'all can see that. I got a whole bunch of notes that I've been taking for days, because y'all got me in my goddamn feelings about this movie. And y'all know who the y'all is that I'm talking about. You understand? Because y'all always do this. And for those of you who are tuning in, you know what I'm talking about, because the last 2 days I done reposted a movie review I did almost a year ago to the date about The Harder They Fall. Wasn't nobody calling for no boycotts, not no brothers. calling for no boycotts of this movie. When nobody talking about Hollywood's agenda with the production of this movie, and for good reason. Yes, it was a Hollywood film, but at the end of the day, the director was black. All the producers but one was black. It was black funded, all black cast. Everybody white in the movie was a fucking extra, right? So it was all black everything. I don't like westerns. Don't give a damn about westerns, but and was going to be one of those ones that wait to see it when it came out, on TV or Netflix or something. But so many people that I respect in the movement, I respect politically and spiritually were like, this movie was the jam, blah, 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 blah. I was like, I don't really do westerns, but you know what? It's all black everything. I love all of the actors. Let me go ahead and give my dividends to support this movie, even though I knew, my spirit knew I wasn't going to like it. So we were able to stream it on TV. I think it was like $20 to stream the movie here at home. Me and my daughter watched it. I ain't gonna go into it too much, but I knew, first of all, I don't like westerns, but I know right out the gate there's something gonna be with some bullshit. You feel me? That movie I hated. And I did the review about that movie last year because I kept hearing all these like politically sharp people bigging this bullshit up. And I was like, well, damn, maybe it's me, because 5 minutes into the shit, I wanted to turn it off. But I was like, no, let me be objective. Let me be discerning. You understand? And then walk through this thing and, and then be able to make an informed decision about what it is I was experiencing with this movie, because I don't watch anything. And that's always been, it ain't just been since I've been a political activist, child. Even when I was a Christian, my daddy used to be, we watched TV with us and we was like, it didn't happen that way. Let me tell you how it really happened. That ain't real, right? Let me tell you how it really happened. So my dad always taught me to be discerning with what I'm looking at. That to never take anything that come off the damn television at face value, to always know that there is a message, there is an objective when you are watching that screen. Somebody is trying to win something in your brain, an idea, something, right? So I'm always trying to be discerning. But I'm also trying to be, like objective and not too hardcore. You feel me? But again, I also know the state. And what I mean by the state is the whole apparatus. I live in Hollywood. You understand what I'm saying? I live 4 blocks from the Chinese theater, baby. I know Hollywood. And until you live in Hollywood and you up close and personal with this bitch, you still don't know what you're talking about. I'm trying to tell you. All you can do is come to some base level conclusions about what it is you witnessing, boo, because this shit out here is so deep. So deep. I digress. Okay. I live 4 blocks from Chinese theater. I live right here in the heart of Hollywood. You understand? And so I know, and I have that kind of discerning eye all the time, right? So I go to the movies to see this movie, having understood that I know what it is. And I'm gonna go ahead and be frank with y'all right out the gate, so y'all already know my angle. As soon as I started hearing the first person talking about boycotting this movie, I knew that it was not about anything that was coming out of their mouth. What it was about was what it's always about, baby. It is about uncomplicating the complicated. Because at the end of the day, there is not a period I can recall in my lifetime. I'm 47 years old. There is not a period I can recall in my lifetime where the hatred of Black women was so pervasive, so like in your face, such a daily part of the ongoing narrative. The hatred of Black women is so deeply embedded in this bitch. It is it is a cornerstone of what America is the hatred of Black women. It's a cornerstone of it. And not just Black women in America, you understand? Like America sets the terms and Hollywood sets culture globally. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, this shit is old. And so to hear over and over and over again, knowing just last year, y'all went and spent all y'all damn money to go see The Harder They Fall. And as corrupt as that shit was, you understand, all it got was accolades. All it got was accolades. Y'all went and spent your money, and you needed to. I ain't gonna front. Look, these black actors, Hollywood does what it does because they still perceive us as powerless. So we have to spend money to support black talent, black artists, black musicians, black actors, all things black. I don't give a damn. I give money to black shit. I don't care. Even if it's trash, I'm sorry. Now, if it's like reactionary, okay. But this ain't reactionary. That wasn't to me reactionary. Plus, I know these African actors, these black actors that played in The Harder They Fall. It was a script. Yes, it was freaking awful. It was a script, you understand, that they felt the need to play. That's cool. I still gave my money. I didn't wait till it was free. I paid the $20 to stream that shit that I knew I was going to hate and did it anyway. You understand what I'm saying? And so that was a benefit of the doubt type situation. See, The Harder They Fall, though most black folks cannot identify with black people in the Wild West. They can't identify with black people in the Wild West. But black folks went and saw that shit, and they damn well should have. I concede that. For no other reason, so let me go ahead and say this right now before I get too deep into this shit. For no other reason that you know Viola Davis, you heard her position, you see her life with her black ass husband and her black ass babies, and she always rooting for black people. Go spend your motherfucking money and watch and support that goddamn film. Because that film is doing what every black film does. These white people stay talking about we can't give no money to it, we can't support it, we can't give you that budget and all of this shit because there ain't really a market for it. Though black people set the terms for everything resembling culture on the whole of the goddamn planet. Everywhere on earth, black people set the goddamn terms for what fucking progressive culture is. We do. Yet we constantly being told in these institutions we don't control that there ain't no market for what you're doing. There ain't no market for this. People just want to see you guys as slaves. People just want to see you guys, I ain't got no problem with popping pussy. I ain't got no problem with twerking. But I'm saying they put us in these small ass categories. And I heard Viola Davis say something last night on this interview. You got to see this interview. That was so profound, man. This woman, you understand? She said, when I was growing up and my mama used to take me to the movies and I used to watch movies like Taxi Driver, and I used to watch movies like with Meryl Streep and all of these people. She said, I'm sitting here watching Taxi Driver and it was my favorite movie and I was at the movies and this dude is a psycho and I'm rooting for him at the end. She is like, we were invested because white people have always been allowed to display the whole range of their humanity, whether it was crazy and messed up, whether it was psychopathic, they have always been able to display the entire range of their humanity. That has perpetually been denied us. We have never had the opportunity as African people to display the full range of our humanity, of our emotional ups and downs, of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it is because we don't control these institutions. So why are we going into these places trying to fight? She said it took 6 years to make this movie. I had to fight like hell to get the funding that we needed to make this movie happen. She said, do not take this shit like we fought like hell for this movie. We black women fought like hell for this movie. So kill the bullshit, you feel me? And go spend your money and see this movie. And then, if you don't like the movie after you have supported these black men and women in this movie, then you can do like I do. When I go watch some bullshit I don't like, but I love supporting black people. And then I can have an objective opinion that I present because I went and watched it. And now I can have an informed opinion that I offer you about the good and the bad of this movie. What was good, what was weak about the movie. Okay? Now, okay, so that's the first thing. Go watch the movie. If you ain't watched it, I don't want to hear nothing about nobody boycotting this movie. I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. If you Black, I don't want to hear it. If you think you progressive, I do not want to hear it. I do not care. If you think you a historian and you don't want, I don't care. Because let me tell you something else that happened with The Harder They Fall. Y'all got to go back and watch this damn review, because the harder they fall, the little loophole that they use, the little out they gave themselves with The Harder They Fall, is everybody in the movie was an actual living person, but they write a story that is fiction about these very real human beings that lived. Y'all ain't have no problem with that. Not only was it historically inaccurate, it was absolutely historically false. But y'all ain't have no problem with it. So, and then I know you didn't, because I ain't hear nobody talking about it. I know you didn't, after you went and watched the movie and bigged it up, you didn't go and do the homework about who the people actually were and why the movie was such a crime. Rufus Buck was a goddamn gangster. He was a revolutionary. He and the other brothers and the Native American brothers that was talking about, we got to prevent these white people from getting any more of the West. We got to prevent them from coming any closer to the West. They can't have nothing else. That's what he said. And he was a kid. He was 19 years old when he was murdered, when he was hung, when he was killed. But you can write a story about Rufus Buck using his name of a young man that actually existed and was talking about how these Puritans and these slave owners couldn't come no further out west. They ain't colonizing nothing up out here. We gonna get all these natives and all these Black people to prevent these motherfuckers from coming any further out here than they are. And then you write a story. Well, it's just a fiction. You write a story about revolutionaries, young revolutionaries, you understand, and make them villains, massacring, killing needlessly, running through people, robbing people. You turn them into villains, and you think that shit is innocent because they use a loophole to prevent y'all from getting mad, talking about it's just a fiction, right? But these are real people. These are real people. These are real human beings. You understand? I ain't gonna get too deep into that, but I'm telling you, y'all mad about the Woman King because it's, quote, historically inaccurate. But goddamn, every movie that you done seen, black, white, red, yellow, in the history of Hollywood, even if it's based on true events, that means some of the shit in here is true. And some of this shit is because we need to make a dope ass movie. Idiots. Really? That's what y'all gonna harp on. That's what y'all gonna use as the excuse to boycott this movie that for the first time since we can remember not only showcased Black women, black skinned Black women, nappy haired Black women, black as night Black women with big nose and big lips and big ass Black women, and muscular and sexual at the same time. This is the first time we've seen a movie that not only, had them in the movie, but had them front and center. They are the story. And everybody else in the movie revolves around them. But y'all mad. Y'all mad. Come on and call a thing a thing. Y'all mad because at the end of the day, this movie it's like the dog whistle that's calling y'all out. That's what it is. Because listen, the environment, the atmosphere is already what it is. Y'all already say in a million different ways, I hate Black women. That's what you say. That's what your actions say. That's what your bullshit say. That's what every excuse you got under the sun that why you can't treat Black women better, why you can't show up for Black women, why you cannot behave when in the presence of Black women is I hate Black women. That's it. And y'all too cowardly to just come on out and say that shit. So everything else is the issue, but the issue. You understand? This movie is just the dog whistle that exposes you motherfuckers. That's all. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Okay? Because I done seen everything as the excuse for why people boycotting this movie. The Woman King. Let's start with the title. Listen, let me tell you something about y'all, okay? I hope every black man mad about this movie see this shit, because I am talking to you. I'm talking to you. Let me tell you about why you mad. I've seen two baby people. Let me tell you something. My spirit been hurt because people I love. You understand me? People I respect. People I knew who were gonna take a right position about this movie and ain't and don't. This it's you I'm talking about. It's you I'm talking about. How you mad about the title, The Woman King? Honey, this movie takes place in the mid 1800s. The concept of a woman king in Africa is old motif. Why y'all mad? It did not start with the Dahomey. What, y'all done forgot history all of a sudden? This some shit black women done had to do over and over and over again. And while we try to gloss that shit up, I'm gonna tell you what the essence of it is. The reason black women done had to do this shit over and over and over again is because the only way you motherfuckers respect power in the hands of a woman is if she act like y'all. Y'all don't give no respect to the title queen, you see, because you still think it's some shit that's subservient, beneath you, below you. You understand? And so, honey, Naniska, I think that's her name, Naniska, and the Dahomey, this wasn't the first time. Historically, black women had to do that. Can we go back 3,000 years ago when Hatshepsut, who knew she was a better ruler than her son, and she was like, you know what? Because she had been ruling as regent because her stepson was too young to rule. You understand me? She was the first one to do it historically on the continent. She said, baby, look, I'm gonna send you out to school. I'm gonna let you learn how to officiate government, how to lead in battle strategies and what have you. And I'm going to rule as regent in your absence. But when he came home, when he was of age to rule, she was like, nah, boo, you ain't gonna be the king. As a matter of fact, this is what's gonna happen. Since I can't rule as regent anymore because your ass is old enough to be king, I am going to crown myself king. And I'm gonna run this shit until I say it's time for you to rule. That's what she did. That's what she did. She crowned herself pharaoh. And that wasn't enough because I know how y'all act towards women. So what did she have to do? They said that she had to wear the royal garb of the king. She had to wear the royal postiche of the king before y'all fell the fucking line and did what the hell she said. That's what she had to do. God damn it. The same thing, y'all know y'all got struggles with her. Don't matter. She was who she was as a consequence of the environment that existed. You understand? This is dialectics that we're talking about. So when we talk about Queen Nzinga, the same thing happened. Queen Nzinga not only had to crown herself queen, she was the rightful heir. Her father trained her in military strategy and battle. She was the rightful heir, but nobody wanted a woman to lead. You understand what I'm saying? So some Negro usurped, some punk usurped, and she ghosted his ass and took her damn throne, is what she did. That's what she did. And y'all still didn't respect her stilo, so what she had to do? Y'all mad. You understand what I'm saying? She was like, well, damn, if I'm king, you understand? I need to do what kings do. So she formed herself a harem, is what she did. As far as I'm concerned, it was like her being a sarcastic ass slap in the face because she know how y'all are. You understand what I'm saying? She galvanized herself a harem of husbands, of husband wives. That's what she did. They say she had 40-something husband wives. Because that's what y'all do. When y'all become rulers, you think you entitled. That you are not a servant of the people. You understand? That now you are a lord over the people. And it entitles you to all the bodies in the world. You understand? So you galvanize harems and shit. She was like, well, damn, if I'm going to crown myself king, I might as well do what kings do. Let me grab up me some husbands too. Shit. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all, Asantewa had to do that. Now she did it different because y'all Asantewaa, they say y'all Asantewaa was already a grandmother by the time she had to run shit. And why she had to run shit? Because you motherfuckers, I'm saying you, goddamn it, I'm saying you. Because you motherfuckers sat in the councils, the only people in positions of power. All the mothers, all the grandmothers had to be on the outskirts. They ain't have no say. Meanwhile, you plotting and scheming about how you about to turn over the gifts of your ancestors to these white people. And she overhears it. All you motherfuckers in this meeting talking about, let's just give the white boy the stool. And the stool was supposed to be the cornerstone of the whole ancestral tradition. And y'all was like, look, we don't want no smoke. So let's just go ahead and give the white boy the stool. It ain't really that deep. You would betray every ancestor. And she said it. Man, what am I hearing? She busted into the meeting like Jesus did. Busted into the meeting, turning shit over like, what the fuck is y'all in here talking about? Giving this white boy a goddamn stool and shit. That's the only way we gonna be reunited with our ancestors. I know I ain't hearing what I'm hearing in here. She said, if you men won't go and fight the white man, we women gonna get our guns. We gonna take your guns and we gonna go fight the white man. 400 women under the leadership of Ya Asantewaa to beat back the British. This shit with the Dahomey was not new. Why y'all mad about the woman king? This is old motif in African tradition and history. Man, goddamn, how? I don't understand it. Y'all confuse me. How you mad about the concept of the woman king and you believe in Oya? She who puts on pants to go to battle with Shango. What is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all? You understand what I'm saying? Y'all so caught up on some bullshit. It's the Hollywood agenda. It's the gay agenda. Shut the fuck up with that dumb ass shit. Shut the fuck up with that shit. I didn't mean to go this hard. I said I was going to be calm and, mild tempered and shit. But this shit is annoying. It's exhausting. It's frustrating. And it make you look stupid is what it does. All right. So now y'all mad about the woman king. Then I heard some dude talking about, I saw he played a little clip from one of the previews. And there is a dude in the movie, a bald-headed dude that's dressed in purple. And he's obviously effeminate, right? I knew it. I knew it was only a matter of time before they had the gay agenda up in there. Whatever, right? So I'm not trying to give away too much of what happens in the movie because I want you to see the movie. But the man was a eunuch. This too is historically accurate, by the way. Okay? Not only in West Africa, but in Kemet. There is an old history of men being allowed to become priests in the temples of the deities if they agree to remove their genitalia. The only role this man played in the entire movie is he is an inhabitant of the palace because he is counsel to the king. He is a eunuch priest in the temple of the king. This is historically accurate. So shut the fuck up about a gay agenda. This is historically accurate. Okay? So then what else? Oh, okay. So now when you read about the Dahomey, everything that you read about the Dahomey is through the perspective of white men that were, involved in the slave trade and were in and out of that area at the time. So every time there's a discussion by white people historically about the Dahomey, it's always the same thing. And isn't it ironic? A few hundred years later, you motherfuckers is saying the same shit. Verbatim. Why they so masculine? Why they look like men? They almost look bestial. This is coming from the mouths of black men and black women, but more often than not black men. Right now, this is what y'all saying. When you can read books and personal journals and shit from conquerors, white folks, Europeans in the area at the time saying exactly the same thing, but you trying to tell me you don't hate black women because you still fuck on black women. I'm just saying. You understand? You sound like them. So in the movie, the other thing that I appreciated about the movie was that these women were strong. They had to be, right? They were strong, they were athletic, right? They were constantly, working out and training, but they did not look masculine. Now, let me have a conversation with you about this. Because as a matter of fact, all the black women watching right now, I want you to put your hands up or a black power fist up or something if this has happened to you. Every single black woman I have ever known, light skin, dark skin, short, tall, fat, skinny, mixed race, every black woman I have ever met personally has always at least once told me a story about being called masculine. Tell me if that's happened to you. I will wait. Hands up, black power fist, some shit. How many women has that happened to? That's on this call right now. Okay, maybe. All right. Anybody? Misty? Rhonda? Yashara? All right. Okay. So let me tell you what this is about. And it was an enigma to me. This was going to be a separate video I was going to do about it because this continues to happen to me, right? And I hear all the time, okay? So black women, all black women, like I said, even mixed race women that told me it didn't happen to them, right? And so when I was younger, because this started happening to me when I was young, like 8 years old. Why you such a tomboy? Why you so boyish? Why you act like that? Why you always around boys? Like, why you so rough? Why you talk so loud? Why you so angry? Why you act like a man all the time? Why you so manly? And all these various ways and shit. So for me, not having as a young girl any kind of political understanding what the hell was the origin of this shit, I would always try to overcompensate. My daughter moved here 2 years ago and she's like, Mama, I haven't seen you wear a pair of blue jeans in 15 years. Like, I refused to wear pants. I was always wearing dresses. I would never leave the house without makeup on. I was hypersexual, right? Like, I always did these grand demonstrations of my femininity. You understand what I'm saying? Always had my titties, jacked up to my chin and shit. Like, always had like a waist cinch on, like girdles and shit. You understand? So I had the perfect little out. All of these grand gestures to shield myself from the accusations of being, quote, manly or masculine. So a year ago, 2 years ago now, I went to Sedona with two gay male friends of mine, two black gay men, okay? Two black gay men. We drove to Sedona to go do ayahuasca, okay? We go to Sedona. We stay in this cute little resort. I have on a dress, a halter dress, like no straps, no shoulders. It's like a halter dress, right? Cute little dress all the way down to my feet. I got my hair up in a bun with like little dreads hanging down and shit. I'm cute, okay? I'm walking to they got a saltwater whirlpool. I'm walking to the whirlpool, you feel me? And it's these two white men and a white woman are wandering around the parking lot looking for their room. I was like, oh, it's this way. And the girl says, oh, thank you, sir. I said, sir, really? The guy comes to her defense. Oh, she's drunk. I was like, I don't give a fuck how drunk she is. My tits are bigger than both of hers put together. I was like, am I not in a dress? He was like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. And she's laughing or whatever, right? So I go upstairs and I tell these two black gay men what just happened to me in the parking lot. Both of them, one who's known me for 20 plus years, both of them were like, Sometimes, Iyapo, you can be a little hard around the edges. I mean, you do come off kind of masculine sometimes. Two black gay men. Now, this is 2 years ago, so I'm like, wait a minute. So it's been a long time since a motherfucker done called me masculine or boyish or some dumbass shit. So now I'm like really in my feelings, like, what the hell is going on here right now, right? And then I recognized what it was. It is what it has always been. Power under this fucking world social system, power for the last 6,000 years has always and exclusively been synonymous with masculinity. I hope you hear what I just said. Power for the last 6,000 years has always been exclusively tied to masculinity, to men. Men are the only ones who have a right to access power under this shit. Men. I'm saying all men. Yes, at the top of that totem pole is white men, because this society that they have created is to most benefit them. But they have exploited manhood as they have established it by turning indigenous men against their women. So men of all races seek power, and power is synonymous in the world of men, in the mind of men. Power is always synonymous with masculinity, so they are entitled to it, one. And two, it is always synonymous and partnered with the domination of women. Always, all the time, exclusively. Always. So it confuses the regular, everyday, ignorant motherfucker when they see power presented from the body of women in general and black women in particular. And we end up self-brutalizing, self-criticizing, self-gaslighting to accommodate the cancerous weaknesses inherent in masculinity as created by this goddamn social system. Because the masculinity created under this shit is not normal. It's not normal. It is a malignancy. You understand? Masculinity under the matriarchy was a whole different experience. You understand? It was not in opposition to the mother. It was in accordance with her will. It was in accordance with her will. Do you understand? So all these black women, beautiful black women, young black women, old black women, mixed race black women, Coke bottle figure black women, fat black women, ugly black women, all their lives have been internalizing, quote, masculinity that is imposed on them, right? As some offense, but what people are responding to, boo, is your power. You have not yet recognized it. That's what the problem is, which is why I was always hypercompensating. You see what I'm saying? Masculinity. The reason I say this, the reason I told that story is because when these white men went and was writing in their journals and shit about how masculine quotes, these were some of the most powerful soldiers we ever came into contact, warriors we ever came into contact with. It's one man said, man, they hand to hand is unmatched, but it's unfortunate that they don't know how to use guns. That's what he said. He said, they the strongest warriors I ever came into contact with. It's unfortunate they don't know how to use guns. So we ran through them like the plague. You understand what I'm saying? And so they talk about how masculine these women are, almost bestial, because they are not accustomed to seeing femininity as something that is synonymous with whole humanness. Their version of femininity is the fucked up projection that they imposed on white women in Europe, transforming white women who also used to be warriors, by the way, transforming them from warriors into fucking maidens and shit, with chastity belts and shit, and dresses they couldn't run in and shit. You understand what I'm saying? So they transformed what femininity was to this thing that has no choice but to be subservient. Otherwise, she's helpless. Otherwise, she has no defenses. So to come down here in the 18th century and see all these women kicking ass and taking names, these white boys had a problem with that. And fast forward a few hundred years, every black man you know got a problem with it too. So the first thing they try to do, okay, so now that's one thing. Power in the hands of women. I had a girlfriend of mine tell me today, called me early this morning, a Haitian sister, saying that in 2022, right now, today, they have initiated witch hunts in Haiti. She got a video from a family member in Haiti yesterday of an elder woman, a silver-haired black woman who was a midwife, who had been burnt at the stake in Haiti this week. They have initiated witch hunts on black women with power. God damn it. All over the continent right now. We're constantly hearing stories of black women being brutalized. They ain't being brutalized by crackers. They are being brutalized by their sons. Man, and so she told me today when she was telling me that, was that a man in the video that can be heard, because they all saying burn the witch in Haiti, in Haitian, in patois. They all saying burn the witch, and she hears one over the group saying women with power, all women with power are evil. Y'all did not hear what I just said. All women with power are evil. That happened this week. You motherfuckers got a problem with black women. Okay, so let's go on to this next thing that I want to talk about, because I can go off on that shit for a long time. Okay, let's talk about the whole concept of submissiveness and subservience that tends to dominate all these goddamn these damn YouTube, relationship coach motherfuckers. You understand? And it ain't just Negroes, but they the ones loudest about it. Because I just saw this white boy yesterday talking that same dumbass bullshit. You feel me? About how men want a submissive woman and all of it. Man, fuck you very much. Okay? This movie that y'all are all mad about, this movie, because y'all hate to see power in the hands of women, but y'all missed the biggest thing in the movie, is that these women were the most submissive. These women were the most submissive. Listen, y'all ain't hear what the hell I just said. Here you have. So in the movie, when they go and they raid this village and they bring all these captives back to the village from other villages and stuff, and they bring all the women into the palace, and they say, look, we ain't gonna force this lifestyle on you. You understand what I'm saying? You got a choice. But know that if you choose this way, you become one of us. You our sister, and we'll protect you with our life. The other thing is you will have more power here than you ever will anywhere out in the world. She said, look, your voice matters here. Your opinions matter here. You are protected here. You will be fed. You will eat well. You understand? You will be one of us, and you'll be one of the ones. But it's still within the context of the fact that every last one of these women were societal throwaways. That's who they were. The women who became Dahomey, Amazons, if you will, were the women that were deemed too ugly to marry. I'm telling you what it is. too ugly to marry the king, too unruly or unsubmissive out in the world, whose parents could not sell her to a to a husband, or who were socially ugly, or who were orphans. These are the women that became dynamic. So did they have a choice? Did they have a choice? They're like, damn, I can die by myself out in the world, struggling for how I'm gonna eat, with the constant threat of being abused by some man somewhere. You understand? Or I can be up in here with these women and at least learn how to defend myself out in the world. But the drawback is once I come up in here, I'm considered a wife of the king, so I can't have sex, can't have no babies, can't have no husband, can't have no life that I define for myself. So was it really a choice? Was it really a choice? And once you became the Hame, and they only hint at it like genteelly. They only hint at it a little bit. You feel me? But once you become the Hame, right? Then you are a servant to the throne. So y'all acting like y'all talking about the Dahami, y'all talking about Naniska as if they were sitting on the council of the king, having a direct impact. Now, the movie did kind of display that, but that's not fact. Y'all acting like these women had some kind of impact on how the king did business, and they didn't. These were foot soldiers carrying out orders. That's who they was. They were servants to the throne. And if they dared buck the system, the death penalty was in order for them. These women were reduced to the society's goddamn derelicts in shit. And the only salvation for them was to learn how to fight. I can go out here and die prematurely, or I can go up in the temple walls and at least I'm going to get 3 meals a day. You understand? And I'm going to learn how to fight so I can protect myself. And, you know, these are my options. Y'all talking about this movie like you are talking about women who were sovereign, and they weren't. You are talking about the Dahami like you are talking about women who were sovereign, and they weren't. They were servants to the throne. They were servants to the king. They were wives to a king who would never fuck them. Because the king had a harem of women that he had sexual contact with, and then he had his military of women who did not have the same rights as the men in the military. One of the young girls, because she a rebel, you know, she say, how is this fair? How is it that we as the women can't have no husbands, can't have no kids, can't have no nothing that resembles a life of our own, but all our male counterparts that are soldiers, they can get married, they can leave the compound to get some ass if they need to, and we can't? That in order to preserve your life, ugly black woman that nobody wants, in order to preserve your life, you understand, you have to come up in these walls, never leave these walls, and defend the throne, and you don't get shit in return. Y'all act like these women were sovereign, and they weren't. You act like they had freedom, and they didn't. You talk about the Dahami being active participants in the slave trade, along with several other tribes along the eastern seaboard, the western seaboard of Africa. But women were then what they are now, servants to men in power, executing orders handed down to them by those who control their fucking lives. So you mad because these particular servants know how to kick some ass and take some names, but they were not free. They were not independent. They were not policy makers. They were not even counsel to the king. They were servants. They were foot soldiers who were executing orders. Okay? Now, so that's one thing I really wanted to bring up. Like, you can be all up in your feelings. And yes, there were some embellishments, which happens in every movie in Hollywood. Every historical movie that's based on historical events or true events don't mean it happened exactly this way. We have to make a movie and it has to be interesting. So we gonna add some juice and add some characters that didn't actually exist and add some dynamics that never actually existed. It's a fucking movie. It's a movie that has some accounts that were actual events. That's all. Y'all ain't never had no problem till you got a bunch of black women centering the whole story. Now you got a problem. So call a thing a thing. All right. So we talked about, okay. The other thing that I want to talk about is this history. So I watched this documentary. I think everybody should watch it. I really respect her, and I really respect her position. Marira Kwesi, wife of Ashwa Kwesi, did a lecture that she was really well known for a few years ago called Black Women Liberators. Black Women Liberators. I forget the subtitle, but just Google Marira Kwesi and Black Female. I think you can even watch it on YouTube. But it's the whole entire history of Black women liberators. Okay. Now, one of the things that I took issue with Marira Kwesi is there was one section. So she broke it down into 3 sections: women who became liberators out of necessity, women who became liberators because of revenge, or women who became liberators when there was nobody else available to do the job. 2 things that she said in that documentary that I really appreciated was, one, she was like, you know, she talked about Yasantawa, she talked about Queen Nzinga, she talked about Hatshepsut, and she also talked about how white anthropologists were always talking about or hinting at these women being evidence of transgender people and shit because, quote, they dress like men or they crown themselves king or whatever, right? And she's like, you know, I reject that. She was like, when you are a woman, but there is a job that you have to do, sometimes you have to wear a specific uniform to do that job. Like right now today, we ain't got no problem. This is her. She said, like right now today, we ain't got no problem recognizing that when a woman becomes a police officer, she has to wear the uniform required for that job. She can't wear high heels and mini skirts and be cute and shit trying to do this job, chasing after criminals and shit. If a woman becomes a firefighter, she has to wear the uniform for that job. That is what these women exemplify, is having to wear the uniform for the job that was required of them at the time. You know, like she used that as a way to kind of dispel white anthropologists trying to, you know, pigeonhole these powerful women into being some kind of transgenders, right? Okay, fine. Now, so she said that, and then, but the other thing that she said that was frustrating is incident after incident after incident. Historically, she kept talking about how when there was no man available to do the job, like she would say, you know, women had to step in when there was no man available. She would say that several times. Women had to step in when there was no man available. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with it because there is no point in the history of African women, hell, women in general, all over all the continents, where women did not actively participate in defending the group. So these, quote, gender roles that we so fucking stuck on are, even as progressive as we swear we are, still emanate from the same place. Our indoctrination by the 3 isms that dominate the world, you know, Christianity, Catholicism, Islam, and Judaism. These are the 3 defining religions that we still are so locked into, that we superimpose these extreme gender role binaries on the whole goddamn 7.5 billion people on the planet. Those binaries did not exist prior to the emergence of these three religions, these three hyper-patriarchal religions. Women and men had roles. They had roles and responsibility within the group. And I ain't talking about the whole human epoch of the hunting-gathering era, because even it was different then. You understand what I'm saying? But stop imposing that shit on women. You are upset and you want to call some Black woman masculine because she is dynamic, because she can be fine and in high heels and in an updo and shit one day and put on, some jeans and some combat boots and dig in a ditch if it's required, or go to combat if it's required, or whatever, or skilled in hand-to-hand combat or whatever, and you got a problem, right? And it's based in the fact that you are still hogtied ideologically to a lot of these patriarchal traditions. It still governs your worldview, whether you realize it or not. Even anyway, so the thing that frustrated me about that was how she kept saying when there was no man available to do it, then this woman had to take up the mantle. So when she talked about Harriet Tubman, she was like, all right, well, Harriet Tubman did this awesome thing, was this woman that she was, dynamic as she was, but, she had to take up the mantle when there was no man available to do so. That's not a proper assessment. Not when there was no man available to do so. She was surrounded by men. It was when men did not have the incentive or the heart or the spine to do what she did. That's when she was like, well, shit, ain't none of these motherfuckers gonna do it. Let me go ahead and set this shit off. Let me go ahead and make this shit pop. Over and over and over again in our history, we have had this story. Yaa Asantewaa, I just told you, had to shame all the male leadership in her community for betraying the people. Come on, women, let's grab these motherfuckers' guns and go on out here and make this shit happen. Not because there wasn't no man, quote, available to do so, because they straight sold out the clique. They sold out the whole crew. Women stayed trying to let you lead. Women stayed trying to let you lead. Women stayed trying to let you lead. And men perpetually betray us. Perpetually betray us. Perpetually betray us. So then when we finally say, goddamn, ain't nobody gonna make this shit happen. Let me go ahead and make this shit happen. Now you mad. Now I'm acting like a boy. Now I'm a tomboy. Now I'm a man hater. But goddamn. All these men I keep hearing talking about protect the Black woman, protect the Black. Y'all are liars. You are liars. What you mean is protect the Black women that we give a fuck about in our circle. That's what you actually mean. Because if it's a woman that you identify as not fuckable, you ain't trying to defend her. If it's a woman that's too old to get busy with, you ain't trying to defend her. You ain't trying to protect her. If it's a woman that's too ugly, if it's a woman that's too fat, you ain't trying to protect and defend her. If it's a woman that's too loud, if it's a woman that look, quote, too much like a boy, you ain't trying to defend her. Your defense of the Black woman, what's the word I'm looking for, is conditional. Your defense of the Black woman is conditional. Why? Because you hate Black women. Don't mean there ain't a few vagina possessing people in your clique that you have feelings for or that you care for. Don't mean you love the group. It don't. And it shows on y'all all the time. All the time. And it's not just the reactionary ones that are loud in their disdain for Black women. The Negroes who just run out chasing after white women like pathetic puppies and shit. It ain't just them. It's those of you who swear you progressive, but you are silent in the face of the aggressions happening against Black women all the time, every day, all day, in, out, all day. Or you participate in the slander of Black women. So you may say, protect Black women, defend Black women, you understand? But if Cardi B come out the mouth slick, or Meg Thee Stallion come out the mouth slick with something y'all don't agree with, y'all have no problem slandering them, talking shit about them. Ain't they Black women? They don't deserve defense. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all fucking so-called cries for defense of the Black woman is conditional. The worst of you, in my estimation, are those of you who are silent, dead silent, inactive, dead silent in the face of the aggressions happening against Black women every day in this bitch. Black women are defenseless in this motherfucker right here. You understand? Their lives, every fucking square ounce of space that we had to fight tooth and nail for. Not only against, quote, the white world, but against y'all. Stay trying to sabotage Black women trying to come up. Even those that love you, center you in their universe, you stay trying to sabotage them. My ex-husband did it every day. Why don't you just quit that school shit? I'm like, nigga, don't you recognize it when I get done? But we gonna have some shit. We gonna be able to make some moves that we're not able to make right now. Just support me this little bit of time. And I wasn't even talking about financially support me, because I was the only motherfucker working while going to school full time. I'm saying emotionally support me. Well, I try to do this so that I can put you on a pedestal when I'm done. So it's all about you and how you want to move in the world. My ex-husband called me a tomboy acting, man hating feminist. I'm like, is that before or after I give you a blowjob? I mean, that was graphic, but I'm just saying, when exactly am I a tomboy, manly acting, man hating feminist? When you tap me on the ass at night at 3:00 in the morning to get some? Is that when I'm being a tomboy? So anyway, that story about Maria, it's a great lecture. I love it. I revisit it often. I learn so much from it. But when she kept saying, and it's the way we always do that, we sidestep the honesty that's needed to challenge our men to be more, to do more, to show the fuck up the way we say we need them to show up. Not how you want to, how the fuck we say you need to show up. And I ain't just talking to Black folks out here, by the way. I spend a lot of time out here with indigenous women, you understand, with Native women, with Mexican women, with South American women who have exactly the goddamn same experiences we have with our men, they having with their men. So I'm saying, you know, we sidestep all the time, being gentle, tiptoeing around motherfuckers' feelings and shit. So she's saying, you know, these sisters, these great revolutionaries had to do the job when there was no man available to do so. Say what the fuck it is. That men, our men, have perpetually dropped the goddamn ball in the defense of the group, and then get mad when women, after bearing the brunt, like, look, if it ain't gonna be them, it's gonna be me. Then you get mad because now you feel like a bitch trying to shame you. Ain't nobody trying to shame you. Y'all nigga want to be free. We want to be free. That's all. That's all. We want to be free. We want to be free from the exhaustion of living this existence. We want to be free from the microaggressions that we have to deal with out in the world and then come home to deal with that shit. We want to be free from the burden of producing wealth in real life for somebody else. We want to be free like we was a few thousand years ago when we could walk around with our titties out and not have to worry about a motherfucker transgressing against us. To see us bare-breasted meant you was entitled to some shit. We want to be free, like it means to be free, to know, even as an infant, that as soon as I incarnate, this is a safe place for me to be, and I will be safe in my entire walk through existence on earth. That's what we want as women. And you motherfuckers ain't participated in providing that. But you got all the beef in the world. You got all the criticisms in the world. You want some woman to be submissive to you? Oh my God, boy, bye. Even Black women who work the same job as Black men make 23 cents less an hour than Black men do. We make 68 cents less than white men do for the same work. Yes, motherfucker, pay for every date. No matter what you think I have, you live in a society that benefits you at my expense, even if you Black and man, even if you Mexican and male, even you are the beneficiaries, you see. And your opposition has played you to it. You fall right in line every time. All these niggas out here calling themselves relationship coaches. And sisters so alone, so abandoned, so misused, so mistreated. We fall right for that dumbass shit. Women we call them pick-me's. Y'all call them pick-me's. I don't call them that. I call them victims of goddamn patriarchy. Y'all call them pick-me's because they always parroting some dumbass shit some man done told them they need from a woman in order for that woman to deserve to be loved. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Listen, we are all suffering as a consequence of this madness. You feel me? This movie is the dog whistle that exposes you. That's all it is. Yes, Rhonda, every fucking date. Every day. Pay for everything and let me offer the opportunity to pay if I so, because listen, y'all ain't gonna want to hear this. Y'all don't want to hear this. And it's okay. Like I said, if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. But I'm just telling you what it is. I am telling you what it is. I am not interested in equality. I want you to hear what I just said. I am not interested in equality. Men are not equal to us. They are our sons. I hope you hear me, because this science we talking about right here, baby. This history we talking about right here, baby. This is spirituality we're talking about, right? We are not equal to men. If men are what they are, it is because their mothers said it was so, made it so. The young man that plays the king, what's his name? John Boyega. The brother John Boyega just did this interview. I love this African, this young, beautiful African. And God, I just pray prayers of protection over him that Hollywood does not ruin him. Because he said, my mama Black. So of course I want to see a whole cast of Black women. That's what he said. Of course. It was a no-brainer to him. He was like, man, this was awesome. I'm sitting here looking at all these dark skin. He said, he opened up by saying, it's 85% melanin around these parts. That's what he said. He said, it's 85% melanin around these parts. Talking about the movie, talking about the set. It's 85% us up in here. You understand? I love that. I love that. And he shouted out his mama. He was like, look, I'm me because my mama say so. You understand? I'm just trying to tell you, I'm not equal to no man. I'm not. And I'm not interested and equality with men. Not when I can watch this documentary and Marira Kwesi go over a whole 6,000 year history of Black women saving the day, Black women saving the group, Black women showing the fuck up when men would not, Black women executing the impossible without, you know what I'm saying? Over and over and over again. The Kentucky. Would any of you so-called historians call the Kentucky masculine acting man haters? Y'all don't do that about the Kentucky. Y'all recognized who they were in defending Africa against the Greeks and the Romans and shit, that they had to do what the fuck they had to do. But y'all would turn on the women in your life right now like we ain't at war. Like this shit ain't the most burdensome period in human history. Like you would openly condemn Black women. Man, come on. She's saying they ain't no man, that when there wasn't no man to do so. Man, come on. Queen Nahanda was married. Queen Nahanda was married to Kaguri, to King Kaguri. And when the British came and they waged this war against the British and they finally lost because the British broke out the cannons and shit, and they took as displays to humiliate the people, took Kaguri and Queen Nahanda and put them on their knees and said, look, we about to cut y'all heads off. But before we cut y'all heads off, we're going to give y'all niggas the opportunity to turn your life over to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And Kaguri fell on his face in front of his entire kingdom that just fought to preserve his kingdom. He betrayed them, fell on his face and gave his life to Christ, and they cut his head clean off. And Nahanda said, look, I don't know what you thought, baby, but not only fuck Jesus, that's what she said. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but not only fuck your cracker Christ, she said, my bones are going to rise again, and my descendant is going to ensure that you are never able to maintain hold over our goddamn people. That's what she said. You understand what I'm saying? Queen Nanny of the Jamaican Maroons. Why she had to do that if she was surrounded by men who got it? Because we the men. We got it. We the men. But they didn't do it. She did it. And they fell the fucking line. They said, what you need us to do? Nah, you ain't supposed to be leading. It's where the king at. We gonna do what the king say. They didn't do that. They said, look, she said, look, if you don't want no smoke, you do what the fuck I say. That's what she said. If you don't want no smoke, you fall the fuck in line. I'm the one. God talks to me. You understand? To obey my will is to obey God's will. That's what she said. So no, I'm not interested. And I might, I was in my feelings for a little bit. I'm like, I'm gonna be alone out this bitch for forever. I ain't never gonna have no boo. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't never gonna have no sweetheart and shit. But you know what? I cannot. I hate it. But this is the world that we live in. That Black women have to come to this point in our lives because we all have to go through it. I done read too many stories about too many powerful women having to make the same decision. Do I subdue who I am for the sake of companionship? Or do I live as my full self and have to be alone because you motherfuckers don't know how to show up in the face of God? Ugh. Anyway, child, bye. Even in the tradition, what happened? Right? Shango was the man, flamboyant, like turn up man. He's the turn up man, right? He the life of the party. Oya was his favorite. You understand? Like this my ride or die right here. Like Oshun, that's my sweetheart. She's sexy, she beautiful and shit. You understand? She make life sweet on earth. But yo, Oya, this my rider right here. It is said of Oshun that he would never enter into battle without consulting with Oya first. Babe, what you say? What you think? That's what the story says. He never entered into battle without consulting with Oya first. You understand? One story that I heard from a Babalao was that the story of Shango is that Oya was the one that taught him that he could only be his God self when he slayed his own ego. Oya taught him that boo, the only way you will become full God, your full God self, reach your full potential, is to move your motherfucking ego out the way. Let me teach you what that looks like. I only want you to be your best self. You are me. You are part of me. You understand? I only want what's best for you. You understand? So Oya was his boo. Not only his boo, he trusted her with his life in battle. You understand? He ain't never say, look, I'm the one, like, I ain't got to come to you for intel and strategy about how I got to do I can do me. He ain't never did that. It said he never went into battle without consulting with Oya. But y'all say y'all about this tradition. You say about this life, and you are opportunists. You are liars. I don't believe you. Okay? Because your actions don't match with what comes the hell out your mouth. I don't believe you. You understand? And then when you start talking this bullshit about real black women on the earth, I double down. I don't believe you. None of you. None of you. When as many motherfuckers as I know across the whole continent, as many people as I know across this continent who claim to be conscious, upright citizens, upstanding human beings, down for the cause, for the love of the people in Africa. And I can count on one hand how many people I would trust with my fucking life who happen to have penises. I don't believe you. You understand? I do not believe you. And this movie, again, is just a microcosm of a very real issue that is permeating the entire consciousness of our folk right now. Culturally, socially, politically, it's just rank all over the place. Your hatred of black women is just everywhere. And even though other men mistreat their women, Mexican men mistreat Mexican women, Native men mistreat Native women, white men mistreat white women, Asian men mistreat Asian women, black men who are supposed to be the trendsetters of all things on earth are the most outlandish and outspoken and venomous, openly, globally, of their disdain for their mother. Even as these other men do rotten, horrible things to the women closest to them, you'll be hard-pressed, and I have looked. You'll be hard-pressed to find a video of a white boy talking about the only reason I date black women is because white women ain't shit. They got too many babies. They got too much drama. You'll be hard-pressed. I done looked Mexican men talking shit about Mexican women. Can't find it. I don't fuck with Mexican women. You know, they too this, they too that. You know, I can't find it. Asian men, they the least likely of all the people on the planet to marry and date outside their race. The least likely. You understand? So, you in your hatred of black women are always sending a message to the rest of the world. You are sending a message to the rest of the world that we are not valuable, that we are unprotected. Do with them what you will. That's the message that you send. In all your behaviors, whether it's some dumbass shit about how you want a black wife who gonna be submissive, you still portraying that same message. that unless she can do what the hell I say, she is valueless. Do what you will. That's what you are communicating to the rest of the world. That's why the Chinese was able to move up into Africa the way that they have and exploit and vilify and oppress African women the way that they are right now in fucking Africa. Chinese motherfuckers in Africa oppressing African women. And we trying to figure out how that happened. I just saw a documentary the other day about 85 black women dying mysteriously working in the homes of Arabs, and so many hundreds more missing who go to Arab countries looking for work. These ads being put all over Africa to get African women to come and work in these houses with promises of jobs and schools and all this shit, and they go and not only have to work for free, they end up slaves, but end up massacred by these motherfuckers with no government to come to defend them. There ain't no African government saying bring our women back. If you attack our women, we coming down on you like a lead bomb. None of that. None of that. Motherfuckers can just move up into the continent, the blackest place on earth, post up, abuse the women. And it is because y'all perpetually send messages to the entire world that we are defenseless, that we do not care about them. Do with them what you will. Man, come on. So this shit with this movie ain't innocent. It's not innocent. It's all related. It's all related. You are showing your ass. You are showing your character. You are showing your nature. Because if for no other reason, the same thing I said all the way back at the beginning, if for no other reason, because y'all need simple shit. Viola Davis is black as the day is long. She got a black ass husband and black ass babies. If for no other reason, go give that sister your money. If for no other reason, if you ain't trying to get deep and philosophical and historically accurate and broke down, for no other reason, she black, the king is black, he married to black women, he got a black male military. If for no other reason, they black and got black boobs, go give them your money. That was enough for you motherfuckers to vote for Obama. But at least he got a black wife. So go give Viola Davis your damn money and stop being stingy, judgmental asses. Or pull your resources and create an institution that can contend with the Hollywood you hate so much. Otherwise, shut up. If you ain't gonna create an institution of dual and contending power, man, people are exhausted of hearing this shit. I don't want to hear about the gay agenda no more. I don't want to hear about the white man's agenda no more. Because see, the thing is, y'all can talk about this shit, but I know, tell me, I want one person to tell me that you don't watch no TV, you don't watch no movies, and you don't listen to no music unless it's made by you or your homies. If you ain't saying that, then I don't believe a word coming out of your mouth about how you oppose to Hollywood and you oppose to the homosexual agenda and all of that. Because you ain't built no institutions of dual and contending power. Where is the black apparatus for the dissemination of ideas? I'll wait. You got a Tyler Perry, but he had another agenda. His agenda ain't liberating black people, ain't transforming the human condition. That ain't his agenda. So he did exactly what his agenda wanted him to do. He got rich making black shit that can make black people laugh at our expense. That's what he did. And y'all supported it because I know y'all did. I know y'all did. You understand? And that ain't no judgment, no harm, no foul. He met a need in us that he saw, and he took advantage of that. No shade. This was a regular, everyday black person who said, there's a market for this among our community. Let me jump on it while the jumping's good. But all the history of liberation struggles, revolutionary organizations, black nationalists, Mexican nationalists, Native nationalists, Asian nationalist organizations, where are our contending institutions? Where is our black as fuck, what you call it, record label that can contend with the competition. Where is our black as fuck you know movie production, media production apparatus that can contend with the narrative that we say we hate so much? Where is it? Man, so if you ain't building it, just stop. And in the meantime, the Africans fighting like hell for space to tell stories of ours that are other than we were slaves and then some white person helped us get free. If like this sister took a story that, yes, she said in all the interviews, she said, look, like the shit wasn't all roses and shit. You feel me? She said, but I wanted to take a story that centered us from our perspective, from our worldview. Motherfuckers is tired of hearing about slavery stories. Well, we were slaves, just then, and then, some white person who just happened to be benevolent, helped us, get free. You feel me? There's always some benevolent white person in the story. You understand what I'm saying? So if we want something other than that, and you ain't got but a handful of people fighting for space in the institutions that already exist to tell a story that we center, that we tell, and it's what we say, and she was able to do that, honey, she rallied the funding. She was like, these motherfuckers fought me all along the way. It took us 6 years to make this movie. So kill the nonsense, man, and just go give the Africans your damn money. Just go give the Africans your money. You understand what I'm saying? Stop making excuses. Stop making excuses, because you showing your ass. You showing who you really are. And what you say out your mouth don't match with your actions in the real world. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this shit a little bit quicker along, because I didn't mean to be on here this long. All right, so we talked about that. I wanted to say, yeah, okay, so yeah. So there's a couple of things I want, some homework y'all got. One, watch the documentary that I was telling you about Black Women Liberators by Maria Rakwesi. I believe you can watch it on YouTube. Black Women Liberators by Maria Rakwesi, Ash Rakwesi's wife. Watch that. 2, buy the book. I forget the name of the author, but the book is When and Where I Enter. When and Where I Enter. Because they talk about this too, this dynamic that I talked about in my review about The Harder They Fall, that the only way to empathize with the plight that is peculiar to Black women, right? Like women in general, we share struggles, but the experience of Black women is peculiar to us, right? And so this book talks about, and I talked about in The Harder They Fall, even now, Hollywood is always like exploiting this in us. We call it colorism, but I reject it. I reject this whole notion of colorism. Colorism is a more gentle way of calling a thing what it is. And the thing is straight up white nationalist caste systems. We live in a caste system where your proximity to whiteness determines success and your proximity to Blackness ensures failure. That's it. That's a caste. And so everybody, Asians, Mexicans, natives, everybody can fall within the spectrum. But the caste is about these binaries of a white male dominated world and a Black female oppressed world. That's the dichotomy. If the white man is the definer of the world that we live in today, then the person most victimized under that system is the darkest and the most feminine. That is Black women or Black skinned women, because there's a bunch of people who hate their proximity to Blackness and to femaleness and will call themselves everything other than Black. You understand what I'm saying? Because they recognize the contest is between us. Okay? Now, with that being said, the book When and Where I Enter talks about this dynamic throughout the historical liberation struggles of the last, I think, 150 years. So it talks about like Sojourner Truth, right? It talks about Harriet Tubman. It talks about what's her name? Mary Bethune McLeod, right? Mary Bethune, yeah, Mary Bethune McLeod, right? It talks about all of these dark-skinned women, game-changing, trend-setting women in African history that up until recently we didn't know. Their presence in the civil rights movement, in the Black Power movement, in the liberation movements, in anti-slavery movements were all but disappeared. And the only common denominator was their proximity to Blackness. That all the light-skinned women that were doing similar work were the ones getting all the props and all the praise. So even within our own consciousness and movements, this Black-white body proximity is real. And we fall victim to it all the time. And we call it everything but what the hell it is. It is a caste, no different than the caste that exists in India. No different than the caste created in Brazil. No different than the caste that exists in South Africa. But we want to call it something else because, you know, we believe the hype that this is the land of free and the home of brave and all that bullshit. Though it's never matched our reality. It's not colorism in casting. Stop saying that. It's caste systems. It's caste systems being displayed in casting. That's what it is. Because when you call it a caste, you know exactly what you're dealing with. You're dealing with top-down power dynamics. Okay? So, those two books. And then let's see. So, two other things I wanted to make mention. Everybody hot under the collar about about the woman king and these quote female soldiers. This too is on motif. I told you, Yaya Santawa rallied 400 women, but even in more recent history, it was a women's movement in South Africa that was responsible finally for doing away with the past laws. It was women that did that. Thousands of women that did that. What was the other one in Nigeria? The big women's movement. I think it was in the 1960s. The big women 10,000 movement. 10,000 women descended because there was some men and women who were arrested by the British governor or some shit, and 10,000 women descended on the governor's mansion or whatever. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about in Nigeria. I forget the name of the war. It was called the something war, but it basically ended up translating to the women's war. 10,000 women descend on the governor's house until the people are released. And it was like some tax laws that they were trying to impose on people was undone. Oh, this old motif. I don't know why y'all mad. Y'all supposed to be historians, RBG, historians and shit. Why y'all mad? You understand what I'm saying? And it ain't just RBG people. Whole platoons during the Mexican-American War and in the Alamo, all women. All women. You understand? All women. Same thing. Just recently, Gaddafi was only murdered a hot second ago. He had an all-female military battalion. All women. This wasn't but a hot second ago. Gaddafi. You understand? So I'm gonna need y'all to stop publicly sounding stupid in an attempt to display your hatred for Black women. You trying to hyper pontificate and rationalize calling for a boycott of Black skinned women who look just like your mama? The hell is wrong with you? It's historically inaccurate. It is glorifying slave trading women. Boy, bye. Boy, bye. When I say bye, listen, now, if y'all want to have a symposium, a whole week-long discussion about the crimes of our ancestors and how we have to rectify that behind closed doors, I'm with it. Because I believe that there's work that Black people have to do to right the wrongs of our own past. But stop using that as a crutch to slander Black women. Stop. I don't believe you, especially if I go all over your page and see all the various instances of you saying something that is indicative of your hatred for Black women. But you try to dress it up in some RBG shit or some African attire or some shit. You got a motherfucking Malcolm X t-shirt on, so I'm supposed to believe you give a damn about Black women when I know you don't. You understand? You got some nice Yoruba made outfits on and shit, and you know all the prayers and you know all the dances, but I can look through your life and point out a myriad of ways you have displayed your hatred for Black women. Y'all, listen, just because women don't say stuff to you often, don't mean we don't see you. Just because we aren't slaying your asses verbally on a regular basis, which is what you need, don't mean we don't see you. Don't mean we don't peep you. But you have trained us to understand that if we speak our truth, that if we attempt to be whole humans, that you will deny us tenderness, that you will deny us companionship, that you will use it as the excuse to betray us or abandon us. So we learn very young, as women in general, as Black women in particular, we learn very young to become contortionists. We learn very young how to live like flesh and blood origami, folding in on ourselves all the time, making ourselves smaller and smaller in space as to not offend menfolk. Because at the bare minimum, I would just like something warm next to me at night. Man. And even with all of that, statistically, Black women are the least likely of every race and every gender on earth to date outside their race. Still holding out hope for you motherfuckers to show up in the right way. Man, it's fucking exhausting. It's fucking exhausting. It's exhausting. You understand what I'm saying? It's exhausting. And I will not be quiet anymore. I am not interested in companionships that require me to be silent. I am not interested in friendships that require me to be smaller or to be quiet. I am not interested in friendships, companionships, romantic relationships that are offended by my wholeness. I am not interested. I don't care. I am not interested in carrying no motherfucker nowhere that would not equally be willing to carry me. I am not interested. I am not interested in your feelings, in your perception of me. I do not care. I do not care. Man, I'm telling you, this is a fucking charge. It starts about a movie, but baby, look, there ain't no gray area right now. Man. Listen, I've been talking to y'all about this since before the new year started. This is Oya's time. Pluto is sitting on its throne, Oya, the mother of change and radical transformation. That uncomfortable shit you don't want to sit with. That is who is sitting on the throne of this shit right now for the next 2 years. For till November of 2024. She running the show. Ain't nobody interested in this dumbass shit y'all with. And I don't debate with men. If you hate Black women, it's okay. Do you? But I'm telling you, there are men, baby, that I have had feelings for, that I have loved. not just as lovers, as men that I have just had respect for, looked up to, seen as mentors in one way or another, that I have stone cold blocked. The line from me, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but the line from me is clear, it is decisive, it is drawn. And if you have any disdain, any vitriol, venom, or hatred in any projection in any way towards women that look like me, towards women that look like your mama, you do not get a spot on my block. I will block you and act like I never knew you existed and believe that this is the truth. I'm a Virgo with a Capricorn moon and a Gemini rising, bitch. We cut ties and we cut ties hard. So just know this. Just know this. Just know this. Know that this shit is not happening in a vacuum. Oya is going to work on every individual, just as she is on every institution, just as she is on every government. This shit is connected. And this planet that only comes around once every 248 years comes around to wreak havoc, to undo every decadent, corrupt, fucked up idea that exists on Earth that has prevented our evolution, because that's all she interested in. This shit gonna hurt because you motherfuckers need to evolve. This shit gonna be painful because y'all done grown comfortable with oppression. Y'all done grown comfortable with bullshit. Y'all done grown comfortable with backwards ideas. Y'all done grown comfortable. Y'all need a spanking is what you need. You need me to beat your ass is what you need. Because that's the only way you gonna hear. That's your mama. I'm gonna tell you once. I told you twice now, child. Look, I love you. You understand what I'm saying? Don't make me keep telling you the same thing over and over again. The next thing you know, she done knocked your teeth out your damn mouth. This where we at. She about to knock our teeth out our goddamn mouth. And y'all playing games with some dumb shit. And the shit is swift. These judgments are coming swiftly, but you don't know how to look. You don't know how to analyze what you are observing. This little Negro, this little brother in Miami a few months ago, the little Nigeria, was he from Nigeria or Ghana? I think it was from Ghana. The little dark-skinned, handsome young man got murdered by his white girlfriend, blonde hair, blue-eyed white girlfriend, stabbed his ass in the chest. And never went to jail, never got arrested. And so all of a sudden, his family on the videos and shit, crying crocodile tears. We need justice. Defend our baby. This girl walking around living her life, and she done stabbed him in the chest and all of this shit. And then all of a sudden, the sisters was like, something suspect about this. Let's go and research this boy history and go through his goddamn Instagram and TikTok since he was 12 years old. Since he was 12, meaning his mama was still taking care of his ass in her house. Since he was 12 years old. I hate black girls. Can't stand how they look. I hate their hair. I hate how they talk. I can't stand black bitches. I just hate. Oh, years. I can't wait to meet my perfect partner. Describing this girl that he with, blonde hair, blue eyes, snow bunny. And he done did some shit to step out of line with her expectations. And she was like, bitch, I'm white. Like, I'm the damsel in distress. You understand what I'm saying? So you cross me, bitch. I'll do what I got to do and I'll get off. And she knew she would. She stabbed this motherfucker in the chest and walked. Never saw the inside of a jail, baby. Now, you can say it's just this dynamic, and you can say it's just what happens, or you can see this within the grand spectrum of the period that we living in, and y'all ain't jocking for this shit no more. You keep slandering black women if you want to. You keep abusing black women if you want to. You keep oppressing and abusing the mother of the entire goddamn planet if you want to. The judgment is swift today. The judgment is swift. It ain't gonna take years. What about the other little brother who baby mama was white, but she didn't want to take care of the 2 kids they made together? So his black ass is living in the house with his black ass grandmama, and she is helping him raise his 2 mixed race babies. And every other day he on the damn live talk about how he can't stand black bitches, that going off. And somebody in the neighborhood called the police on him. And the police gunned his ass down in his grandmother's backyard. Everybody wanted to be like, oh my God, we got to defend this brother. We got to defend this brother. What did the sisters do? No, there's some shit suspect here. I am reserving the energy that y'all rely on from us to defend you until I see what you bow. So did. It was black women that got all up on his feet and was like, this who this nigga was. Here he is living within the house with his black grandmama, who is taking care of his 2 babies, slandering black women on the internet she pay for. This is judgment. This is judgment, baby. This is judgment. And I'm just telling you, I'm not interested. Listen, I do the work. I don't just talk no shit. I be in here, listen, I be in ceremonies, scared. This shit ain't frou-frou, scared in ceremony. Being as open as I can be to the criticisms of my ancestors. You ain't doing enough, girl. You're fucking up. You understand what I'm saying? That little, your little insecure shit. Ain't nobody got no time for that bullshit. You better brush that shit off. Your little, what y'all call it now? I can hear my big mom in my head. What y'all call that? Y'all so bougie. What y'all call that now? Imposter syndrome. Girl, bye. You better make this shit pop and stop acting. Stop acting like you ain't come from our goddamn blood. Stop acting like you ain't standing on the goddamn shoulders of giants. Bitch, ain't nobody got no time for goddamn imposter syndrome. And all these cute little psychological names you want to give for your inability to move forward and evolve. That's some hard shit. That's some hard shit. You understand? Honey, my ancestors, I don't know about y'all's, but my ancestors don't be playing no games. No games. Spiritual spankings is what my daddy used to call it. Spiritual spankings. You understand? What the fuck you mean you got imposter syndrome? Iyapo, Cassandra. What the fuck you mean you intimidated? What the fuck you mean you still holding on to childhood insecurities? Bitch, what? Bitch, what? Bitch, do you know that I was not allowed to read? While you talking about some goddamn imposter syndrome? Bitch, do you know that I was shot in the head in the Korean War? You talking about some goddamn, I'm the victim of gaslighting? Girl, what is you talking about? Wait. You said you just afraid of the criticisms that's going to come down when you say what we tell you what the fuck to say? Girl, you better get your motherfucking life right. You better get your life right. You have not suffered, Cassandra. We have shielded you from that for a reason. We knew that when you incarnated, there was something you were going to have the opportunity to do because of the alignment in heaven and the opportune time that would only exist when you incarnated on the earth. This time is for you. So our blood was shed. Our sweat was born. We endured the suffering to shield you from that noise that would prevent you from becoming who we need you to be. Because when we incarnate in your descendants, in your children, and in your grandchildren, we want the world that we imagined in our wildest dreams to exist. And that can't happen without you being in the place that you are right now. That ain't just me. That's every goddamn one of us who exists on this planet right now. So all this shit y'all talking about, how y'all hate black women and how black women do this and how black women do that. You have to be asking yourself some real questions about your incarnation, about why you are here. Why are you here? Why did your mother see fit to spill blood on your crown to ensure your existence here? Why did she do that? Was it just so she could have a little chocolate baby to squeeze on? When you deny your mother, you deny your destiny. And I ain't just talking about your blood mama. I'm talking about every motherfucker that looked like her. When you deny your mother, you deny your destiny. That anything that you cling to in your selfness as important, or that makes you stand out from the crowd, that gives you the swag that you got, that everybody on earth want. Bitch, it's because your mama is God. It's because you cannot be God without her. You can't be God. Only God can give birth to God. We are not to be submissive to you. You are our sons, every fucking one of you. And women, the reason we make a distinction between sons and daughters that we have created a malignancy around is because our daughters are us. Our daughters are a continuation of the one, of the she that came before every last one of us. The distinction of sons is because you are a part of our body. When God saw fit to give her daughter, to give herself a companion, she created this companion in her own body and said, now you can live, boy. Son became before father did. You were a son before you were a father. The very first son was a son before he was a father. So close your mouth. Stop talking. Just like your mama used to tell you. If you can't say nothing nice, keep your fucking mouth closed. But when in the presence of Black women, even one that you deem lowly, you shut your fucking mouth. She is God victimized by this shit. Even if you think she ain't in right way, even if you think she this, that, and the other, keep your vile ass opinions to yourself. We do not need melanated men out in the world preaching from the mountaintops the valuelessness that they have placed on their mothers. To lay your mothers out to be exploited by everyone who sees fit is your fault. It is your fault. It is your fault. It is your fault. It is your fault. Nobody else's. It's your fault. The condition of Black women in the world today is your fault and no one else's. No one else's. God damn it. No one else's. You understand? These are the conversations we don't want to have because we've glamorized and glorified and fictionalized in a lot of ways the totality of our history. I understand why we did it, but now we know better. We need to observe the good and the bad and the ugly so that we do not repeat in the future what we have done in the past. You understand? And part of that is that no one, white, Asian, Arab, no one would have been able to penetrate and subsequently dominate Africa without the complicity of Africa's sons. Now, you can be mad. I don't care. We can analyze all the intricacies of all the history of the world. This is the essence, baby, for us. This is the essence. The largest continent on earth, the second largest, the oldest populated planet on earth. And we always acting like it's some mystery as to how we were overcome and subdued, it is no mystery. Nothing that has happened to Africa, nothing that continues to happen to Africa could happen without the complicity of and the outright participation in those conditions at the hands of Africa's sons through the betrayal of their mothers. That's real. That's real. That's real. That's real. God damn it. You believe the hype, and we still suffer the consequences. So it's going to be us. It's going to be women that set this shit off. It's going to be Black women that is the fucking fiery flaming spear that sets this shit off. And y'all ain't got but two choices. Y'all can comply to the will of your mother, or you can go down with the fucking sinking ship, bitch. This is it. This is it. This is dire straits we are in. This is the determining moment in history. It's that moment that takes us from age to age. It's the defining moment. You understand what I'm saying? I done covered everything I wanted to cover about the movie, but it wasn't just about the movie in general, obviously. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a reason. Everything has a method. Everything has a message. You understand? And the other thing is spirit, especially in this period in human history. Plus, goddamn it, there's 6 planets in retrograde right now. All the goddamn outer planets are in retrograde, and Mercury is in retrograde. If you ain't doing deep, hardcore, uncomfortable, painful internal work, I don't know who you expecting. I don't know what you expecting to contribute to the fucking planet. Who are you? Who are you? What is your purpose, child? What's your debt? Why did your mama agree to your life if you gonna be out here, child? Why did your mama agree to your life if you ain't gonna be out here doing nothing that benefits humanity? Because when humanity is well, you are well. It's true. You can't do anything but receive blessings when you are a blessing to a Black woman. And we all know that. We don't know how to articulate it politically, but we all know that. That's why everybody on earth always seeking the fucking approval of some Black woman. They always want some Black woman in they clique. Even if it's one lone Black woman, that validates them. They always looking for the approval of Blackness in general, Black women in particular. If she say it's dope, that shit fire. If she say it's cute, I'm fine. A white homosexual friend of mine from when I was 20 used to tell me, because I was always hard. It was difficult for me to take compliments because as a young girl, I never got compliments. I always got told about how big my forehead was, or how ugly I was, or how tomboyish I was. So this white gay man always used to give me compliments. Oh my God, girl, you are so cute. Girl, your ass is so cute in that skirt. Now he gay, right? Flaming at that point, right? And I would be like, stop. I just did not know how to take a compliment. And he finally told me, he said, baby, let me tell you something. He was older than me. He said, let me tell you something. He said, the most honest compliment you can ever get in your life is from a straight Black woman and a gay man, because they ain't got no ulterior motives. When I say you fine, bitch, it mean you fine. I'm like, shit, okay. You understand what I'm saying? Like, damn, I'm cute today, right? And I'm saying that because, look, baby, everybody know they get blessings from Black women. That's why everybody acts like a succubus on us. You understand? That's why everybody treats us like beasts of burden, because Black women in general, I ain't saying all of us, but Black women in general, we still try to mother the world, right? We want to show up for people. We empathize with everyone. We do. We feel it personally when we see somebody suffering. We want to show up how we can, right? But people take advantage of that. It is this imbalanced theft of our power. Nobody sees fit to fill us up. I'm telling you, fill us up because it's what they're supposed to do, not because we got to make a struggle for it, not because we got to shame you about it, not because, you know what I'm saying? Just because we exist, how we are, who is going to step forward and fill up the mothers of this fucking planet? But everybody wants something from us. Everybody want to be near us. Everybody want to be a part of our shine. Everybody want to see this thing, man. This thing that we experiencing about all these women getting nose jobs and lips jobs and titty jobs and ass and hip jobs to look like us ain't just about cultural appropriation, baby. It's deeper than that. To call it simple cultural appropriation is a horrible reduction of what we are witnessing. Cultural appropriation is a very basic political understanding of what we are looking at. Do you understand? It is the shine. It is the mystery. It is the unspoken magic that everybody recognizes, everybody wants, with nothing but without having to give anything in return. That's what they want. They want the aesthetics because they think the aesthetics are where the shine come from, baby. They think the aesthetics is where the light comes from. They think the lips and the ass and the titties is where that unspoken enigma comes from. So they do everything in their power, child, dreadlocks, afro puffs, tanning salons. It ain't about cultural appropriation, baby. It is about the fact that everyone on the planet Earth, no matter where we go as Black women, recognizes, their spirit does. It's their brain, it's their conditioning that has them think it's something else. But their spirit recognizes instantly, this is God I am in the face of. But because our conditioning is so evil towards Black femininity, we articulate it as something else. We assume it's something else that we are attracted to when we go into spaces with other folks, and they gravitate towards us. Child, I can't tell you how many motherfucking times I go out dancing. I'm in my bag by myself, child. Honey, it's about me in spirit when I go dancing, boo. And whatever happens, happens. And I go in, I'm all in. Ugly faces and all of that, right? It never fails, no matter where I'm at. It's always a woman. It's always a woman. Some woman, white, Mexican, is all predominantly, especially since I've been here, but even when I was in Florida, always some woman. I used to go to this place, La Cita, best Friday night, right? I went dancing every Friday night. It never failed. This one girl walked up to me and she was like, I'm sorry to bother. I'm dancing. She said, I'm sorry to bother you. She looking around. She's like, are you famous? And I just started laughing. I was like, no, I don't think so. No, I'm not famous. I was like, why you ask me that? She was like, so there's nobody in here right now filming you. I was like, no. She was like, so you just here by yourself dancing? I was like, yeah. She said, girl, you look amazing. Like, I was sure when I walked in, this was like somebody was filming you. Like somebody was maybe off in the cut filming you or something. She was like, can I buy you a drink? I was like, sure, you can buy me a drink. That woman bought me drinks all night. It was not the only time that it happened. This cute Mexican woman, like cute, like, saucy Latina, stereotypical cute, boobies. She was like, girl, you are so fucking gorgeous. Can I buy you a shot? I was like, sure. No, nobody ever came on to me. It never failed. I went to a goddamn rave with 6,000 people. I could count on two hands maybe how many dark-skinned people I saw there, and they was all men with women of other races. Me and one other sister were the only two Black women I saw in 6,000 people, and we walked through that whole shit for 7 hours, right? And I'm like, all right, well, let's get it in. going in. So many people that night. We at a rave. Who stops at a rave to tell a bitch you fine, or to tell a bitch, oh my God, you're gorgeous, or oh my God, like, why are you here? You're not like anybody here. And I used to be like, what is this? You know, I'm a big girl. I got a big old belly and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm big. You feel me? I'm like, what is it? Baby, it's God. It's the same thing that has them chasing our ass and our titties and our lips and our nose, but rejecting us. Isn't that something? All of them, every one of them. So we can't fall into the narrative of oversimplifying our relationships to others and what that means in terms of what we have to do, baby. We'll get caught up in everybody else's narrative. I don't get caught up in no narratives about white people's microaggressions. I don't get caught up in no discussions about gaslighting. It's important information. I'm going to tell you, like, I learned some shit. But all of that shit, gaslighting, narcissism, is still about the same thing, baby. Now, you can call it a psychological disorder, but what it is and why it primarily targets women is, again, because men weren't just born narcissists. They were born into a society that teaches them that their proximity to masculinity entitles them to power, which is always masculine. And for a woman to display power in any way, agency in any way, is an enigma that has no right to exist in this space where power and masculinity are synonymous and interchangeable. So narcissism becomes a thing when a motherfucker sees God in you, right? He has to enter into a relationship with you for the sole purpose of chopping you down in little microaggressions and little tiny bits. I'm going to break this bitch down. I'm going to extract her power while chopping her down, chopping her. You walk into a motherfucking relationship like, bitch, I'm God. You understand what I'm saying? Like, shit, I done did this shit. I done made the impossible happen time after time after time after time after time, and did it flawlessly, and did it with grace, and did it with motherfucking heels on. Like, I did this shit. You understand what I'm saying? But you need a companion. You need your booty rubbed on like the next motherfucker. You need somebody to put their hands in your hair and tell you how beautiful you are too. You understand? Because even God understood the need for a fleshly experience, which is why we're here. God didn't need to just know love. God needed to feel love, and couldn't do that without the flesh. You feel me? So you need that. You need the affirmation of community and companionship and love just because you exist, not because of what you can produce, not because of what you do for, just because you incarnated, you have a right to love unlimited, right? And so here we is, you understand? We God, and everybody knows it. But we are so denied. And we jump through loops. We contort in the most inhumane ways. We tap lightly in spaces. We soften our voice as to not offend those around us. You understand? Meanwhile, they are constantly leeching off the God they see in us while denying our flesh. Is this not the origin and the basis of the entire patriarchal institution? It is to dissect God from the body she chose, and to exploit the body under the guise of saving the spirit. You understand? So I guess I'm done. I ain't mean to be on here 2.5 hours, but maybe I'll chop it up so we can know exactly what I'm talking about where the movie is concerned, like the specifics of the movie. I didn't want to give anything away, so I ain't give nothing away. But you motherfuckers stuck on these women, quote, being masculine, you're assholes. White people are coming out of your mouth when you say that dumbass shit, okay? That's the first thing. Any black man I hear that say any woman in this movie, quote, look masculine, I'm going to tell you to your face, a white man is jumping out of your mouth. 2, anybody stuck on the one eunuch that has 3 lines in the whole movie as evidence of the so-called gay agenda, I'm blocking your ass. I am so exhausted on this dumbass shit. There are 7.5 billion people on the planet. You can't be scientists. You can't be historians to continue to spew this bullshit like homosexuals, eunuchs, and multi-gendered people have not existed in human history, and that it's only white people that taught them how to do that shit or to, input that information into their brain. There are 7.5 billion people on the planet, man. There are 7.5 billion people on the planet. So it could just be that an evolutionary leap forward. Mother Earth is like, there are too many of you motherfuckers on this planet. So what we gonna do is every now and again, instead of 1 out of every 100 of y'all, or every 1,000 of y'all, or every 10,000 of y'all being homosexual, we gonna make it 1 out of every 10 or 1 out of every 3. Because we don't need y'all reproducing the same way y'all been reproducing in the past. There's too many of you motherfuckers on the planet. Can y'all slow your roll a little bit? Can y'all slow y'all roll? I'm saying you have to be considering other options. That's what a scientist does. Okay, so yeah, we got this, that, and this, right? So maybe y'all mad? It's cool. Maybe what you're seeing, because we are a product of the body of Mother Earth, which is a living, breathing, sentient, intelligent being. If you don't believe that, then we can't even go any further. If you think it's just a rock that's just here for us to exploit, then there ain't no conversation that we have. But if you are like me and you believe that we are a product of our mother, that we are a microcosm to her macrocosm, right? You understand what I'm saying? Then you have to believe that if, we're reproducing at a rate faster than that which she can produce and sustain life for us, that maybe not just with the plants and the animals and shit, because what else has happened in coordinates with what y'all think is the goddamn gay agenda, and Hollywood just setting out as a whole mission to make everybody gay, right? The same, in accordance with that, over the same period of time that has been happening, has been a drastic reduction in the sperm count in this country over the last 50 years. A drastic. When I say drastic, I think the last statistic I heard, don't quote me on this, I'll research it to make sure I'm not, but the last thing that I heard was in 1950, the average sperm count per ejaculation was 250 million sperm per ejaculate. Today, it's 50 to 75 million per ejaculate. That is a radical reduction in the sperm count. Is that a part of the gay agenda or Hollywood's agenda to attack the black family and make sure we ain't having no babies? Or is this an evolutionary intervention by our mother to say, pull back the reins, man? Just 100 years ago, there wasn't but 1.5 billion of you motherfuckers on the earth. Now there's 7.5 billion in 100 years. Slow up. Just take a few years off. You understand what I'm saying? Like, can y'all ease up on the baby making shit real quick? Plus, y'all making babies irresponsibly. You understand what I'm saying? You making babies within the height of the most decadent social system on earth that mistreats them. Like, can y'all just slow your roll for a little bit? Let us assess the situation and see how we can evolve, see how we can collectively move forward so that it's good for all of us. Me as the planet, the animals, the trees, the sky, the water, and you humans. Can we create a symbiotic relationship that's mutually beneficial all across the board? Can we do that? Y'all get stuck on some dumbass shit that ain't gonna change the world, baby. It ain't gonna save a motherfucking thing or a motherfucking person. Believe that. Because you can, quote, destroy, undo the so-called gay agenda tomorrow, And it wouldn't change a motherfucking thing on earth for the conditions of people suffering on this planet. It wouldn't change nothing. Hell, I just got a video yesterday from a girlfriend of mine in England. 22-year-old Arab girl in Iran beat to death by a new goon squad formed by the state called the Morality Police. This is real life in 2022. 22-year-old girl beat to death in broad daylight by police called the Morality Police because her hijab was too loose. Too much of her hair was showing from under her hijab. And y'all get stuck on dumbass shit. I ain't trying to, man, Motherfucking women and children out here on the planet suffering. Everywhere. There is not a safe place on the whole of the entirety of the planet for women and children to exist. Not a goddamn acre of land nowhere on the whole fucking planet Earth where women and children are safe. And you motherfuckers talk about why they got a gay man in the movie wearing purple and shit and looking like a female. Ugh. I cannot with y'all. Y'all can't set the terms no more. Y'all can't set the terms. Y'all can't establish the narrative. Y'all will always have us going backwards into fucking reactionary ass dumb shit, as opposed to placing our eyes squarely on a victorious, fruitful, sovereign, peaceful future. Motherfuckers talk about, I want a subservient wife. I want a wife that's submissive. Any woman that concedes to that shit says, look, you need therapy. You need help, boo. Because the ideas that would have you concede to that are not your own. They are not. I done been there. I done said that dumbass shit. So you don't believe the hype and don't get it. I done been there. In my solitude, in my loneliness, in my abandonment, in watching the women in my family be abandoned. You understand? Trying to navigate a world that tells me I am not worthy. The whole world. So for a woman, a black woman, to persevere in this shit is a miracle. And the fact that we keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, y'all can't stand it. Y'all can't stand it. Because everything we see every day of the week, every minute of the day, tells us we are not worthy. Yet we still shine on you motherfuckers because we are God. We are the descendants of the first one. We are she. When you are looking in my face, bitch, you are looking at the very first one to walk the planet and turn in on herself and reproduce herself and populate the fucking planet. And then say, my daughters need companions. And in her own body, created her son to give as a gift to her daughters. Shit. You better act like you recognize, goddamn it. You motherfuckers are supposed to be a gift to us. That you are blessed when we are blissful. You are fortunate when we are happy. That's what Ifa teaches. That the most powerful ashe on the planet Earth comes from the mouth of a black woman. So why y'all want to act brand new, man? You want to be blessed. You want to be protected. How about you start with treating your mother right? Not only your birth mother, not only the one who shed blood for you to exist, every single incarnate that looks like her. Start there. Start there. And not on some, I'm going to call you goddess because you think it's cute and maybe that'll help me slide into your panties quicker type of bullshit. Neither. Peace, empress. Peace, goddess. Like, if you gonna call me God, goddess, whatever, you understand? I better believe you. I better believe you. This is about this next period right here about to be a lesson. It's about to be a lesson on how serious you are about this life. Damn, I could have did that. Shit, I could have been did that. Anyway, my Facebook live went off and I forgot to plug up the phone. So I guess that's my cue because I'm at 2.5 hours now. But baby, look, yeah, this is it. Like, what we got to lose by doing something radically different than what we hold on to for dear life? What we got to lose? We in the world, we see what it is. What we got to lose? Is it going to damage you, men, to pay homage to your mothers? To lift up some woman that has been made low by this shit? To speak blessings into the life of some woman who has been demoralized and broken down and made a shell of herself by this madness? Or are you going to show up her shame? You're going to show up her shame. You're going to put her on display. Right? This is the word. Now y'all can do the demonstrations and all that. I don't do none of that shit. Ain't none of that. That's not it. That's not it. Because for every demonstration, 90% of y'all corrupt and ain't doing no internal work. Y'all want to show up when the shit hot. Y'all want to show up when the movement popping, but y'all ain't doing no internal work. You ain't challenging your own self to grow your own character and integrity. So you ain't got no problem doing shady, dirty ass shit to people as long as you think nobody watching. Man, please. Yo, this is it. So that's the starting point for everybody. I don't give a fuck who you is. Black, white, red, yellow, brown, man, woman, and all the genders in between. Every last one of you, if you're serious about dismantling patriarchal global oppression, your starting point is with the antithesis of the white male father. And that is your old black ass mama. And you better see her in the face of every black woman you cross the street, cross by on the sidewalk. Greetings, mother. How you doing, black woman? Thank you for your Thank you for breathing. Thank you for existing. Our world is made better by your existence. Every last one of you, man. Make an offering to some black woman you don't know. God damn it. And I mean it without no expectations of even accolades in return. Y'all got debts to pay. Y'all got debts to pay. God damn it. Don't mean we won't be gracious. Don't mean that we won't issue blessings, because that's our nature. We do it even when you exploit us. You understand what I'm saying? But y'all got debts to pay. The scales is hella imbalanced, and y'all all got debts to pay. The starting point, if you say you win a competition, if you say you win a contest with white supremacy, a patriarchal, the white male father that runs the goddamn planet, your starting point is, baby, your submission to the will of the mothers. And if you can't do that, you ain't about this life. It's that simple. Because that's simple shit to do. That's easy. That's the easy shit to do. What do you need, black woman, who I don't know? Is there something I can do for you today? We have got to get out of this quagmire where every black woman on earth is speaking spells over the planet in our pain. If the ashe that comes from the mouth of black women is the most powerful ashe on earth, and in our pain and agony and suffering, all we have been doing is lamenting, screaming, grieving. It just seemed, and this is the world that the white man created, the current world that the white man created is personified by, then it just seemed to me like it's science. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? That's science. What is the equal and opposite reaction? Why don't you start worshiping a black woman? And what I mean by worship is showing up for her, respecting. You know what I'm saying? Adulating. thanking for no other reason than that she exists. Start there. Have some woman, just like I said, like this crazy, just random woman walked up to me in the club and was like, "Oh my God, you are amazing." Imagine if 1,000 Black women was getting that on a regular basis. No expectation anything in return. All she did was, "Can I buy you a drink? You are incredible." It's happened so many times, and it's always women. It's always women. Right? Walk up to some random Black woman for no other reason, not even for her to know your name, baby. This is humility. This is what I mean. Than to make sure that for 1 minute of one day, you have made some Black woman happy, and for the rest of that day, she has done nothing but speak blessings into the atmosphere. Let's try that. Let's try that. I'll never forget the face of these women who did that. So let's start there. I'm done. I'm done. So this is Cassandra Floyd, daughter of the Fates, rogue Black girl, previously known to many by Iyapo. Thank you again for joining, and I will see you again soon. All right, peace.